The stars looked peaceful that morning when Captain Lisa Hart checked her instruments. Her ship, the UHS Discovery, moved slowly through space near Jupiter. She was on a simple patrol mission, looking for anything strange in Earth's solar system. Lisa had done this job for 3 years now. Nothing ever happened. "Captain, I'm picking up something weird," said her communications officer, Lieutenant Ben Taylor. He looked at his screen with a worried face. "There are ships coming toward us. Big ones." Lisa walked over to Ben's station and looked at the readings. 5 massive ships were moving toward Earth from the outer edge of the solar system. They were huge, much bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ships had a strange design with long, curved hulls that looked like giant sea creatures. "Where did they come from?" Lisa asked. "I don't know," Ben said. "They just appeared, like they came out of nowhere." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. Earth had been watching the stars for decades, looking for signs of alien life. Scientists always said that if aliens existed, they would probably be much more advanced than humans. Now it looked like those scientists were right. "Send a message to Earth Command," Lisa ordered. "Tell them we have visitors." Admiral Jake Morrison was eating breakfast in his office at Earth Command when the emergency call came in. He was a tall man with gray hair who had spent 40 years in the Space Navy. He had fought in 3 different wars, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. "Admiral, we have contact with unknown ships," his aide, Commander Rick Cole, said as he burst into the office. "Captain Hart's ship found them near Jupiter." Jake put down his coffee cup and stood up. "How many ships?" "5, sir, and they're heading straight for Earth." Jake walked quickly to the command center. The huge room was full of screens showing space around Earth. He could see the 5 alien ships moving closer. They would reach Earth in about 6 hours. "Have they tried to talk to us?" Jake asked. "Not yet, sir," said Dr. Amy Price, Earth's top expert on alien life. She was a small woman with short brown hair who had spent years studying space signals. "But we're trying to contact them." Jake nodded. "Keep trying. And get our defense fleet ready." The alien ships belonged to the Zephyrian Empire. For thousands of years, they had ruled over hundreds of star systems. They were used to finding weak planets that could not fight back. The Zephyrians expected Earth to be just another easy target. On the lead Zephyrian ship, Commander Vextar looked at Earth through his viewing screen. He was a tall, blue-skinned creature with 4 arms and large black eyes. To him, Earth looked small and unimportant. "Another primitive world," Vextar said to his crew. "We will demand their surrender. If they refuse, we destroy their cities until they agree." But Vextar did not know that humans had been preparing for this day. 10 years ago, an alien probe had crashed in the Nevada desert. Human scientists had studied it carefully and learned many secrets about alien technology. They had quietly built new weapons and ships, keeping everything secret from the world. Back on the Discovery, Captain Lisa Hart was still watching the alien ships when something unexpected happened. The largest alien ship suddenly fired a beam of energy at her vessel. Lisa's ship shook hard, and sparks flew from the control panels. "They're shooting at us!" Ben Taylor shouted. "Shields up!" Lisa ordered. "Return fire!" The Discovery had been built with new technology copied from the crashed alien probe. It had energy shields and powerful laser weapons that most people on Earth did not know about. When Lisa's ship fired back, the alien vessel was surprised. The human weapons actually hurt their ship. "That's impossible," Vextar said as alarms rang on his bridge. "These primitives should not have weapons like that." Lisa knew her small ship could not win a real fight against 5 huge alien vessels. "Ben, send everything we've learned back to Earth, now." The Discovery sent all its data about the alien ships to Earth Command. Then Lisa gave the order to retreat. Her ship was fast, and the aliens were surprised enough that she managed to escape. When Admiral Morrison received Lisa's data, he felt both fear and hope. The aliens were powerful, but they could be hurt. Human weapons worked against them. "How long until they reach Earth?" Jake asked. 4 hours, sir," Commander Cole replied. "Then we have 4 hours to get ready," Jake said. "Contact all our hidden bases. Tell them to prepare for war." For 10 years, Earth had been secretly building a defense fleet. Ships were hidden in asteroid belts and on the far side of the moon. Weapons had been placed on space stations that looked like research facilities. Earth looked weak, but it was not helpless. Dr. Amy Price worked hard to translate the alien communications they had recorded. After an hour, she had bad news for Admiral Morrison. "Sir, I've figured out what they're saying," Amy said. "They're demanding that Earth surrender completely. They want to make humans slaves." Jake looked at the screen showing the approaching alien fleet. "Well, they're about to learn that humans don't surrender easily." The alien ships reached Earth's outer defenses just as the sun was setting over North America. Admiral Morrison watched from the command center as the largest alien ship sent a message to Earth. The voice was cold and threatening. "Humans of Earth," the alien voice said, "I am Commander Vextar of the Zephyrian Empire. Your world now belongs to us. Surrender immediately, or we will destroy your cities one by one." Admiral Morrison picked up the communication device. "This is Admiral Morrison of Earth Defense Command. Our answer is no." Vextar was shocked. No primitive world had ever refused the Zephyrian Empire before. "You are making a mistake, human. We have 5 warships. What do you have?" Morrison smiled for the first time that day. "Let me show you." All around Earth, hidden defense platforms powered up. Ships that had been disguised as space junk suddenly came to life. The moon opened up like a flower, revealing a massive military base. In 30 seconds, Earth went from looking helpless to showing a defense fleet of over 200 ships. Commander Vextar stared at his screens in disbelief. "That's impossible. Where did all these ships come from?" "Humans are full of surprises," Admiral Morrison said. "Now get out of our solar system." The first battle between humans and aliens was about to begin. Neither side knew that this fight would change the galaxy forever. The battle lasted only 20 minutes, but it changed everything. Commander Vextar's 5 ships tried to fight Earth's hidden fleet, but they were badly outnumbered. Human ships moved in ways the aliens had never seen before. They worked together like a pack of wolves hunting a much larger animal. Captain Tony White flew his fighter ship around the biggest alien vessel. His small craft was fast and hard to hit. Tony had been a test pilot before the aliens came, and he loved flying more than anything else. Now he was using his skills to save his planet. "Their weapons are slow," Tony said over his radio. "They can't turn fast enough to track us." Other human pilots heard this and started copying Tony's moves. Soon, dozens of small fighters were dancing around the alien ships, hitting them with quick attacks and flying away before the aliens could shoot back. On his command ship, Vextar watched his fleet fall apart. 2 of his ships were already badly damaged. "Retreat," he ordered. "All ships, retreat now." The alien ships turned and ran toward the edge of the solar system. Admiral Morrison wanted to chase them, but he knew his fleet was not ready for a long fight. He let them go. "Sir," Commander Rick Cole said, "our scouts are following them. The aliens are heading back to wherever they came from." "Good," Morrison said. "But they'll be back, and next time, they'll bring more ships." General Pete Davis was in charge of all Earth's military forces. He was a tough man who had fought in wars all over the world. When the aliens ran away, Pete knew this was just the beginning. "How long do we have?" Pete asked Dr. Amy Price. Amy had been studying the alien technology from the battle. "Based on their ship speeds and the messages we picked up, I think they'll need 6 months to bring their main fleet here." 6 months, Pete said slowly. "We need to be ready for a real war by then." The next day, something amazing happened. For the first time in human history, every country on Earth agreed to work together. The United Nations emergency meeting lasted only 2 hours. Every leader voted yes to create a single Earth defense force. "We're not Americans or Chinese or Europeans anymore," the UN Secretary General said on television. "We're all humans, and we're going to fight for our world." Dr. Carl Jung was put in charge of building new weapons. He was a smart man who had always dreamed of working with alien technology. Now he had pieces of alien ships to study, and he was very excited. "Look at this," Carl told his team. "Their metal is 3 times stronger than our best steel, but it's lighter. We can copy this." Carl's scientists worked day and night. They took apart every piece of alien technology they could find. Soon they learned how to make new types of armor and weapons. But Carl had an even better idea. Why try to copy their technology exactly? Carl asked his team. Let's make it better. Humans had one big advantage over the aliens. Earth had lots of heavy metals and rare elements that were hard to find on other worlds. Carl's team started making weapons that used these materials in new ways. We'll make bullets out of depleted uranium, Carl explained, and we'll fire them so fast they'll punch through any armor. Commander Kelly Brooks was building a new kind of fighting force. She had been a Marine for 15 years, but now she was training soldiers to fight in space. It was very different from fighting on Earth. In space, there's no up or down, Kelly told her troops. You have to think in 3 dimensions. The enemy can come from any direction. Kelly's Space Marines learned to use special suits that let them fly around inside spaceships. They practiced fighting in zero gravity until they could move as easily as fish swimming in water. We're not just soldiers anymore, Kelly told her best sergeant, a tough woman named Linda Gray. We're space warriors. The most amazing thing was how fast humans could build new ships. The aliens took years to build one warship. Humans figured out how to build ships in weeks. The secret was Earth's new automated factories. Huge 3D printers worked without stopping, making ship parts 24 hours a day. Computer programs designed the ships, and robots put them together. We're building ships faster than anyone thought possible, said factory manager Bob Lee. We finished 2 new warships every week. But the most important discovery came from Captain Tony White and his test pilots. They found out that humans were naturally better at space fighting than aliens. It's like the aliens think too much, Tony explained to General Davis. They plan every move carefully, but in a dogfight, you have to react fast. You have to trust your instincts. Human pilots could make quick decisions and change direction instantly. They could fly in formation 1 second and break apart the next second to confuse enemies. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Dr. Young's team also discovered something amazing about human brains. Humans could process information faster than most alien species. This made them better at controlling weapons and flying ships. Our reaction time is 0.23 seconds faster than theirs, Dr. Young reported. In a space battle, that's a huge advantage. Earth's cities changed completely in just a few months. Every major city started building underground bunkers in case the aliens attacked. But people were not scared. They were angry and determined. Factory workers volunteered to work extra shifts making weapons. Students quit school to join the military. Old people who had fought in previous wars came back to teach young soldiers. I fought in 3 wars, said retired General Frank Stone, who was 70 years old. But this is the most important fight of my life. Space habitats were built near Earth to house the growing fleet. Asteroid mining ships brought back metals to make more weapons. The moon became a giant military base with thousands of ships and millions of soldiers. But Admiral Morrison and General Davis kept the most important secret of all. They were not just building a defense fleet, they were building an attack fleet that could take the war to the aliens. We're not going to wait for them to come back, Morrison told his top commanders. When we're ready, we're going to hit them first. Hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt were building the biggest warships humans had ever made. These ships were designed not just to defend Earth, but to cross space and attack alien worlds. The aliens think we're a weak species that got lucky once, General Davis said. They're about to learn how wrong they are. Intelligence reports from long-range scouts brought back important information. The Zephyrian Empire controlled 847 star systems, but most of their military was busy fighting other wars. Only a small part of their fleet was coming to Earth. They're not taking us seriously, Commander Cole reported. They think a few hundred ships will be enough to conquer us. Perfect, Admiral Morrison said with a cold smile. Let them underestimate us. As the months passed, Earth changed from a peaceful world into a war machine. But humans did not lose their humanity. Soldiers still wrote letters to their families. Scientists still made jokes while working. Children still played games, even if those games were now about fighting aliens. The aliens had made one big mistake. They thought humans would be like every other species they had conquered, weak, divided, and easy to defeat. But humans were different. When threatened, they did not surrender. They got stronger. Commander Vextar was traveling back to the Zephyrian Empire, not knowing that human spies were already watching him. Earth's new technology could track ships across many star systems. The humans knew exactly where the aliens were going and how many ships they were bringing back. "Let them come," Admiral Morrison said as he watched the reports. "We'll be ready." The 6 months were almost over. Earth's new fleet was ready for war, but the aliens still thought they were dealing with a primitive world that had gotten lucky once. Soon, they would learn the truth about humanity. Colonel Sam Turner had the strangest job in Earth's military. While other soldiers trained to fight aliens, Sam trained to lie to them. He was in charge of making the Zephyrian Empire believe that humans were weak and scared. The best way to win a war, Sam told his team, is to make your enemy think they've already won. Sam was a smart man who had studied military history his whole life. He knew that many great battles were won by trickery, not just by having bigger armies. Now he was planning the biggest trick in human history. "We want the aliens to think we're divided and desperate," Sam explained to his staff. "We want them to believe they can beat us easily." Lieutenant Nina Bell was Sam's best computer expert. She was only 25 years old, but she could hack into any computer system in the galaxy. Nina had found a way to break into Zephyrian communication networks without them knowing. "I can make fake messages that look like they come from Earth governments," Nina told Sam. "The aliens will think they're listening to our real communications." "Perfect," Sam said. "What kind of messages should we send?" Nina smiled. She had been planning this for weeks. "We'll make it look like Earth's countries are fighting each other again. We'll send fake reports about food shortages and people wanting to surrender." Captain Danny Ross commanded Earth's secret spy fleet. His ships were small and painted black, so they were almost invisible in space. Danny's job was to watch the aliens without being seen. Danny had been following the Zephyrian Empire's main fleet for 3 months. He counted their ships and studied their weapons. But he also did something more clever. He let the aliens see some of his ships getting destroyed. "I'm going to sacrifice 3 of my ships," Danny told Admiral Morrison. "The aliens will capture them and think they've learned our secrets." "That's dangerous," Morrison said. "What if they really do learn something important?" Danny grinned. "They will, but everything they learn will be fake." The captured human ships had fake computer files that made Earth look much weaker than it really was. The files said humans only had 50 warships, not the 800 they actually had. They said human weapons were running out of power and breaking down. Major Kate Flynn was working with Nina Bell to create false radio broadcasts. Kate had been a news reporter before joining the military, so she knew how to make fake news sound real. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Earth News Network," Kate said into a microphone. Her voice sounded worried and scared. "Food riots have broken out in New York and London. The government says they may have to surrender to the aliens if the violence continues." The fake broadcast was sent on frequencies the aliens could easily pick up. Soon Zephyrian intelligence officers were telling their commanders that Earth was falling apart from the inside. But the best part of the deception was much bigger. While the aliens thought humans were weak and divided, Earth was actually building the largest war fleet in the galaxy. Hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt worked day and night. These bases were built inside hollowed-out asteroids so they could not be seen from space. Admiral Ben Parker was in charge of this secret fleet. "How many ships do we have now?" Ben asked his aide, Captain Joe Garcia. 1,050 warships, sir," Joe replied, "and we're finishing 20 more every week." Ben nodded. The aliens thought humans had 50 ships. They actually had over 1,000, with more being built every day. It was the biggest military secret in human history. Dr. Max Stone had invented something that made the deception even easier. He created a way for all human ships to talk to each other instantly, no matter how far apart they were. The aliens did not know this technology existed. "It's called quantum communication," Max explained to Admiral Morrison. "When the battle starts, we can coordinate our entire fleet perfectly. The aliens will think they're fighting separate groups of ships, but we'll really be fighting as one giant army." Meanwhile, the Zephyrian Empire was preparing for what they thought would be an easy victory. Grand Admiral Zixithus was bringing 500 warships to Earth. In the Empire's history, this was enough to conquer 10 worlds. "The humans got lucky once," Zixithus told his officers, "but they are still primitives. Our intelligence reports show they are weak and divided. This will be a simple conquest." Zixithus did not know that his intelligence reports were all lies created by Nina Bell and Kate Flynn. He believed Earth only had a few dozen ships and that human governments were fighting each other. Captain Danny Ross continued to send his spy ships near the alien fleet. Some of his ships pretended to be damaged and running away. This made the aliens think human technology was unreliable and breaking down. "Sir," one of Danny's pilots, Lieutenant Mike Foster, reported, "the aliens just captured one of our fake supply ships. The computer files on that ship show that we're running out of ammunition." "Excellent," Danny said. "Now they'll think they just need to wait for us to run out of bullets." The fake supply ship had been loaded with false information about human factories. The files said human weapons factories were working at only 20% capacity and would shut down completely within 2 months. In reality, human factories were working at 300% capacity and could keep fighting for years. Colonel Sam Turner's psychological warfare team created their masterpiece in the 4th month. They staged a fake rebellion on Mars colony, complete with fake video broadcasts of colonists demanding that Earth surrender to the aliens. "This is Mars colony Governor Bill Adams," an actor said on the fake broadcast. "We can't take any more of this war. Earth must surrender now, or we will surrender to the aliens ourselves." The Zephyrian intelligence officers who intercepted this broadcast were very excited. They reported to Grand Admiral Zixithus that human colonies were starting to rebel against Earth. "Perfect," Zixithus said. "By the time we arrive, the humans will probably surrender without a fight." But the cleverest part of the deception was happening on Earth itself. Real news broadcasts showed the planet preparing for war, but they made it look like Earth was barely ready to fight. "Our brave soldiers are training with whatever weapons we can find," a real news reporter said. She was standing in front of what looked like a small, poorly equipped army base. "But military experts say we may not be able to hold out for long against the alien invasion." What the reporter did not show was that the small army base was just the visible part of a huge underground military complex with thousands of soldiers and the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. Even Earth's own people did not know how strong their planet really was. Only a few hundred top military officers knew about the secret fleet and the hidden bases. "It's better this way," Admiral Morrison told General Davis. "If our own people don't know the truth, the aliens definitely won't know." As the Zephyrian fleet got closer to Earth, their confidence grew. Every piece of intelligence they gathered made humans look weaker and more desperate. "They have maybe 50 ships," Zixithus told his fleet commanders. "We have 500. They are divided and fighting each other. We are united and strong. This will be the easiest conquest in Empire history." Lieutenant Nina Bell monitored alien communications and smiled every time she heard reports like this. The aliens were walking into the biggest trap ever set. "They think they're the hunters," Nina told Colonel Turner. "They don't realize they're the prey." Captain Danny Ross sent his final intelligence report back to Earth. "The alien fleet will arrive in 72 hours. They're not taking any special precautions. They think this is going to be easy." Admiral Morrison called a meeting of his top commanders. "Gentlemen and ladies," he said, "the enemy is about to walk into our trap. In 3 days, we show them what humans are really capable of." The deception had worked perfectly. The Zephyrian Empire thought they were coming to crush a weak, divided world. Instead, they were flying straight into the teeth of the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen. Earth was ready. The secret was about to be revealed. The aliens were about to learn that underestimating humanity was the biggest mistake they could make. Grand Admiral Zixithus looked at Earth through his flagship's viewing screen and felt very confident. His 500 warships were the largest force the Zephyrian Empire had sent to conquer a single world in over a century. Against a primitive planet with only 50 ships, it should be an easy victory. "Begin the attack," Zixithus ordered his fleet. "Destroy their pathetic defense force, then demand surrender." The alien ships moved forward in their traditional battle formation. They had used the same tactics for thousands of years to conquer hundreds of worlds, but Earth was not like any world they had conquered before. Admiral Ben Parker watched from his hidden command ship in the asteroid belt. For months, his secret fleet had been waiting for this moment. Over 1,000 human warships were positioned around the solar system, invisible to alien sensors. "All ships, this is Admiral Parker," Ben said into his communication device. "Remember, we let them get close first. We want them to commit to the attack before we show ourselves. The Zephyrian fleet approached Earth's outer defenses. They could see the small human defense force that Admiral Morrison had deliberately left visible. 50 human ships moved out to meet 500 alien vessels. "This is almost sad," Commander Vextar said from his ship. He had returned with the main fleet, eager for revenge after his earlier defeat. "Those humans are brave, but they have no chance." Captain Sue Logan commanded the visible human fleet. She was a tough woman who had volunteered for the most dangerous job in the war. Her ships were real, and the danger was real, but she was not as outnumbered as the aliens thought. "All ships, follow my lead," Sue said to her captains. "Remember, we're not trying to win this fight. We're trying to bring them in close." Sue's ships began what looked like a desperate defense. They fired at the aliens and then retreated, drawing the enemy fleet deeper into the solar system. To the aliens, it looked like the humans were being easily defeated. "They're running already," Zixithus said with satisfaction. "Chase them down. Don't let any escape." The alien fleet spread out to surround the retreating human ships. They moved past Jupiter, past the asteroid belt, getting closer and closer to Earth. This was exactly what Admiral Parker had been waiting for. "Sir," Captain Joe Garcia said from the command ship, "the alien fleet is now completely inside our trap. All ships are in position." Admiral Parker smiled. "Then let's show them what a real human fleet looks like. All ships, decloak and attack." What happened next shocked the aliens more than anything in their long history. Asteroids that had looked empty suddenly opened up like flowers, revealing massive human warships inside. Ships that had been invisible suddenly appeared on every side of the alien fleet. The moon itself split open, showing a giant military base with hundreds of fighters. In 30 seconds, the Zephyrian fleet went from hunting 50 human ships to being surrounded by over 1,000 enemy vessels. "That's impossible!" Zixithus screamed at his sensor officers. "Where did all these ships come from?" But the humans were just getting started. Commander Joe Garcia had spent months developing new battle tactics that no alien had ever seen before. Human ships did not fight in neat, organized lines like the aliens did. They fought like a swarm of angry insects. "Alpha Wing, attack from above," Joe ordered. "Beta Wing, hit them from below. Gamma Wing, straight through their formation. All ships independent maneuvering authorized." Human ships came from every direction at once. They moved in 3 dimensions, using the full space around them. Alien ships that were used to fighting on a flat plane did not know how to defend against attacks coming from above and below at the same time. Captain Tony White led a squadron of fighters through the alien formation. His ships moved so fast and changed direction so quickly that alien gunners could not track them. "It's like shooting fish in a barrel," Tony said over the radio as his ships destroyed 3 alien vessels in 2 minutes. Dr. Max Stone's quantum communication network let every human ship coordinate perfectly. While alien commanders tried to give orders using slow radio signals, human ships shared information instantly. "Enemy ship turning to port," one human captain reported. 3 other human ships immediately moved to surround it. "Alien formation breaking up in Sector 7, another captain said. A dozen human ships instantly moved to exploit the gap. The aliens had never fought an enemy that could communicate and coordinate this perfectly. Every move they made was immediately countered by multiple human ships. But the biggest shock came when the aliens tried to use their most powerful weapons. Zephyrian ships had energy cannons that could destroy a human ship with one shot. But when they fired, their beams hit empty space. Human ships were using a new technology that Dr. Carl Jung's team had developed. They could become invisible for short periods, just long enough to avoid enemy fire. "They're disappearing," an alien gunner reported in panic. "I had a target locked and it just vanished." "Impossible," Vextar replied. "No species has that technology." "Tell that to the humans," the gunner said, as another human ship disappeared just before his shot reached it. Admiral Parker watched the battle from his command ship and felt proud of his people. Months of training and preparation were paying off. Human ships worked together like parts of a single giant machine. "Sir," Captain Garcia reported, "we've destroyed 50 alien ships and they haven't managed to seriously damage any of ours." "Excellent," Parker said. "Begin Phase 2 of the attack." Phase 2 was the most frightening part for the aliens. human ships stopped just attacking and started surrounding individual alien vessels. Like wolves separating prey from a herd, human ships isolated alien ships and destroyed them one by one. "We're being cut off from the main fleet," one alien captain reported to Zixthis. "Human ships are surrounding us on all sides." "Break through," Zixthis ordered. "All ships, form up and break through their lines." But the aliens could not form up. Every time they tried to group together, human ships appeared in their path. The humans seemed to be everywhere at once, attacking from every possible direction. Captain Sue Logan, who had started the battle commanding only 50 ships, now found herself leading a pursuit force of 200 vessels. Her job was to chase down any aliens who tried to retreat. "This is incredible," Sue said to her communications officer. 6 months ago, we had never fought in space before. Now we're beating an empire that's been fighting space wars for thousands of years." The battle lasted only 4 hours, but it felt like forever to the aliens. When it was over, the Zephyrian Empire had lost 300 ships. The humans had lost 12. Grand Admiral Zixithis found himself in command of only 200 surviving ships, surrounded by over 800 human vessels. For the first time in his life, he was completely outmatched. "Human fleet," Zixithis said over the communication channel. "I request permission to withdraw." Admiral Parker's voice came back cold and hard. "Permission denied. You came here to conquer our world. Now you're going to learn what happens when you threaten humanity." But Parker was not finished with his surprises. "Oh, and Admiral Zixithis, you might want to check your rear sensors." Zixithis looked at his screens and felt his blood turn cold. Behind his fleet, space was filling with even more human ships. Admiral Morrison was arriving with Earth's main battle fleet, another 500 warships. "How many ships do you have?" Zixithis asked in shock. "More than you," Parker replied, "and unlike your empire, we're just getting started." The aliens finally understood the truth. Earth was not a weak, primitive world that had gotten lucky. It was a military superpower that had been hiding its strength. The humans had not just defended themselves. They had set a trap that destroyed most of the Zephyrian invasion force. "This is impossible," Zixthis whispered. "Our intelligence said you only had 50 ships." Admiral Parker laughed. "Your intelligence was wrong about a lot of things. Would you like to see what else we've been hiding?" Grand Admiral Zixthis stared at his sensor screens in disbelief. His mighty invasion fleet was surrounded and broken. Half of his ships were destroyed, and the rest were trapped by over 1,000 human warships. This was supposed to be an easy conquest of a primitive world. Instead, it had become the worst military disaster in Zephyrian history. "Sir," his communications officer said with a shaking voice, "we're receiving another message from the human fleet." "Put it through," Zixithis said. He had no choice but to listen. Fleet Admiral Chris Hayes appeared on the screen. He was the supreme commander of all human military forces, a tall man with gray hair and cold blue eyes. Behind him, the bridge of his flagship buzzed with activity. "Admiral Zixithis," Chris said calmly, "I'm going to give you one chance to surrender. You have 10 minutes to decide." Surrender? Zixithis could not believe what he was hearing. "The Zephyrian Empire does not surrender to primitives." Chris smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Primitives? Let me show you something." The viewing screen changed to show space around Earth. Zixithis watched in horror as more human ships appeared. Massive vessels rose from hidden bases on Earth's moon. Shipyards that had been disguised as research stations opened up to reveal rows of warships. Even asteroids broke apart to show military bases inside. "We have 1,500 warships in this system alone," Chris said, "and we have more fleets in other star systems. While you thought you were hunting us, we were building the largest military force this galaxy has ever seen." Zixithis felt his 4 hearts skip beats. 1,500 ships? That was larger than most sector fleets in the Zephyrian Empire. "You're lying. No primitive world could build so many ships so quickly." 6 months ago, you attacked our world with 5 ships, Admiral Hayes continued. "That was your mistake. You showed us that we needed to be ready for war, so we prepared for war." Captain Alex Ford commanded the human pursuit fleet. His job was to hunt down any alien ships that tried to escape. Alex was a young officer who had dreamed of exploring space peacefully. Now he was leading humanity's first interstellar military campaign. "Admiral," Alex reported to Fleet Admiral Hayes, "we've tracked down the last of their scout ships. No alien vessel has escaped the system." "Good," Hayes replied. "We can't let them warn the Empire about our real strength. Not yet." The humans had planned this moment carefully. They wanted to capture or destroy the entire Zephyrian invasion force so that the Empire would not know what had really happened at Earth. Commander Mia Clark was in charge of boarding operations. Her Space Marines were the first humans to set foot on alien warships. Mia was a small woman, but she was tougher than most men twice her size. "Boarding Team Alpha, move in," Mia ordered as her Marines flew toward a damaged alien ship. "Remember, we want prisoners for questioning." The aliens on the ship tried to fight, but human Space Marines were better trained and better equipped. Within an hour, Mia's teams had captured 12 alien ships and over 300 prisoners. "These aliens are tough fighters," Mia told Admiral Hayes, "but they're not used to fighting in zero gravity. Our people move better in space than they do." The interrogation of alien prisoners revealed shocking information. Dr. Amy Price, who had become Earth's expert on alien languages, translated their communications. "Admiral," Amy reported, "according to these prisoners, the Zephyrian Empire controls 847 star systems, but most of their military is busy fighting other wars. They only sent this small fleet because they thought Earth would be easy to conquer." Admiral Hayes studied the star charts they had captured from alien ships. The Zephyrian Empire was huge, but it was also stretched thin fighting multiple enemies across the galaxy. "They made two mistakes," Hayes told his staff. "First, they underestimated us. Second, they showed us how big the galaxy really is. There are worlds out there that need our help." But the most important information came from the captured flagship's computer banks. The aliens had detailed maps of their space routes and military bases. Dr. Max Stone's team worked for days to decode the alien data. "Sir," Max reported, "we now know the location of every major Zephyrian base within 50 light-years of Earth. More importantly, we know which ones are lightly defended." Admiral Hayes made a decision that would change galactic history. "We're not going to wait for them to send another invasion fleet. We're going to take the war to them." Captain Alex Ford was given command of humanity's first interstellar attack fleet. 200 of Earth's best warships prepared to leave the solar system for the first time in human history. "Our mission is simple," Alex told his captains. "We're going to capture 3 Zephyrian outpost systems. We'll show the Empire that Earth is not a victim anymore. We're a power they need to respect." Meanwhile, Grand Admiral Zixithus sat in his damaged flagship surrounded by human ships. He had tried to contact the Zephyrian Empire, but the humans were jamming all his communications. "Admiral Zixithus," Fleet Admiral Hayes said, appearing on his screen again, "your 10 minutes are up. What is your decision?" Zixithus looked around his bridge at his defeated officers. He thought about the 200 ships he had left and the 1,500 human ships surrounding him. For the first time in his long military career, he was completely beaten. "I surrender," Zixithus said quietly. "Smart choice," Hayes replied. "You and your crews will be treated well, but you're going to help us send a message to your empire." The message was simple but terrifying for the Zephyrian leadership. Admiral Hayes had Zixithus record a communication that would be sent to the Empire's capital world. "This is Grand Admiral Zixithus," the alien said into the camera. Behind him, human officers could be seen on his bridge. "The invasion of Earth has failed. The humans are not primitives. They have a fleet larger than most sector forces. I recommend immediate peace negotiations." But Hayes was not finished. "Tell them something else, Admiral. Tell them that human fleets are already moving towards Zephyrian space. Tell them that if they want to avoid a long war, they should consider surrender." When the message reached the Zephyrian capital 3 weeks later, it caused panic in the Empire's government. The High Council could not believe that a single primitive world had destroyed their invasion fleet and captured their best admiral. "This must be a trick," said High Counselor Vexmore. "No single world could build such a fleet so quickly." But the evidence was clear. Long-range sensors detected human ships attacking Zephyrian outposts. 3 border systems had already fallen to human forces. The impossible was happening. A primitive world was conquering parts of the mighty Zephyrian Empire. Captain Alex Ford's attack fleet moved through Zephyrian space like a knife through paper. The alien outposts were designed to defend against other alien fleets, not against human tactics. Their bases can't handle our 3-dimensional attacks, Alex reported to Earth. We're taking system after system with minimal losses. Commander Mia Clark's Marines were now occupying alien worlds. But instead of being cruel conquerors, the humans showed mercy to defeated enemies. They treated alien civilians with respect and only targeted military installations. "We're not here to destroy your people," Mia told the governor of a captured Zephyrian colony. "We're here to show your empire that Earth demands respect." This mercy confused the Zephyrians more than human military strength did. In their experience, conquerors were always brutal. The humans were proving to be different. Powerful, but not cruel. News of human victories spread across the galaxy. Other species that had been conquered by the Zephyrian Empire began to whisper about the strange new power that was defeating their oppressors. "Have you heard?" aliens said in secret. "There's a species called humans that's beating the Empire. Maybe our time as slaves is ending." 6 months after the Battle of Earth, the Zephyrian High Council finally accepted reality. They sent a diplomatic mission to Earth with an offer of peace negotiations. Fleet Admiral Hayes met the alien diplomats in Earth's orbital station. The lead diplomat, Ambassador Kixthala, was obviously nervous as she faced the human commander. "Admiral Hayes," she said formally, "the Zephyrian Empire proposes a ceasefire and peace negotiations." Hayes looked at the alien diplomat calmly. "We're willing to discuss peace. But understand something, Ambassador. Earth is not interested in going back to the way things were. The galaxy has changed. Humanity is now a major power, and we intend to act like one." "What are your terms?" Kixthala asked. "Simple," Hayes replied. "The Empire recognizes Earth as an independent power. You stop expanding into our region of space, and you begin treating your conquered species better. We'll be watching." The ambassador was shocked. "You're dictating terms to the Empire?" Admiral Hayes smiled. "Ambassador, 6 months ago your empire sent 500 ships to conquer us. We destroyed most of them and captured the rest. Your empire controls 847 systems, but you couldn't defeat one human world. What does that tell you about the balance of power?" The negotiations took weeks, but eventually the Zephyrian Empire agreed to Earth's terms. They had no choice. Human fleets were still advancing through their territory, and other conquered species were beginning to rebel. The Treaty of Earth was signed on a space station orbiting humanity's home world. For the first time in galactic history, the mighty Zephyrian Empire had been forced to negotiate as equals with a species they had once considered primitive. Admiral Hayes stood on the observation deck of the space station, looking out at Earth below. In 1 year, humanity had gone from a single isolated world to a galactic superpower. Ships from dozens of species now came to Earth seeking trade and alliance. "Sir," Captain Ford said, joining him at the window, "the first alien ambassadors are arriving. Representatives from 15 different species want to establish relations with Earth." "Good," Hayes said. "It's time the galaxy had some new leadership." The Zephyrian Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had attacked a species that refused to be conquered. Now humanity was spreading across the stars, bringing their ideas of freedom and cooperation to a galaxy that had known only domination and fear. The age of human expansion had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.